So the way I have it, Cam, right now is the way the skimmers work. One is going to, the closest one to here is going to get more suction than the one further away, just because it's in the first, you know, it's, what they say is water follows the path of least resistance. So if I can pull from that hole, in that hole, if I had an equal, it's just going to keep sucking from here. It's going to tell that one, nah, I don't even want to mess with you. So we choke this one off a little bit and give that one full power. So the way these valves work is, you got them all over the place. They're called three-way valves. This little thing, this little dial up here tightens them down. Now I got this one cranked completely closed because this is how you let water out of your pool. And you can see it can't move, okay? Now all you gotta do is unloosen them, and now I can let water out of my pool, okay? All right, now you can see I barely opened that, and water's coming out already, okay? And I can make a lot of water. So how you let water out of your pool, just roll this guy out where you, all the way to the, you know, out to your corner back there, and then get this little guy and open it up. Water's gonna start coming out of your pool, okay? And then close it, tighten her down. You don't want nobody hitting that and accidentally draining your pool out, okay? Now over here, this is my suction side, okay? So this is my main drain. That's that drain in the bottom of the pool. It's wide open, all right? These are my skimmers, and this is wide open, this is choked, and this is choked. Now here's how these work, okay? Right here, I have the word closed, okay? And I have an arrow, and there's a little black line that actually indicates the actual size of the little gate that closes pipes. So right now I see my closed gate is right there. We've got 3 arrows, those are recessed, this one is raised up, so I know that's my closed gate. So right now, just looking at this valve, I know that that's wide open. Water's coming in here, and it's going out there, I can tell. Now, I can close this skimmer off completely. Now I'm only sucking from the main drain. I've just closed this off. I can't suck water because it's closed. Okay? Now I can open them all up again. There we go. I can open up these wide open. Now everything is wide open. The main drain's wide open. That skimmer's wide open. That skimmer's wide open. I can close the main drain. Now I'm only pulling from those 2 skimmers over there. I can close one of my skimmers. Now I'm only pulling from 1 skimmer. Or I can close that skimmer, and now I'm only pulling from that other skimmer, okay? And the way I had it was right there. I've got that one choked a little bit, so my gate's right there. This is wide open, this is half open, because this is your skimmer closest to us.
Okay, that way.
And that's your skimmer on the other side. All right, so I've choked those because I walked over there and looked at them both until I got equal suction at that level. So that right there is normal operation for me on my skimmers, okay? They're both pulling equally. My main drain's closed. So now I open that, and now I'm pulling from my main drain, I'm pulling from my 2 skimmers. Now the way I had it set and I was playing with it, I actually choke both those skimmers off a little bit. Now that's half open. So, and this is half open, and this is normal operation. And the reason is that main drain is 6 feet underground, and it's trying to pull water up a pipe. If I make it equal, that's not pulling at all now. It's too easy to pull from here. Same way it's too easy to pull from the closest skimmer. So by playing with my valves, now right there is what I call normal operation. I should be pulling from the bottom of my pool and the top of my pool equally. And the reason you want that is you want the thermal and chemical rollover. You want to make sure the bottom's getting, there will be dead spots if you don't. If you just pull from the top, there'd be a dead spot in the bottom that wouldn't get any chemicals or anything and start to cause problems. So that's normal operation right there for me, okay? Now again, you can play with them. I want to close these off because I want to get a bunch of dirt down my main drain. That's all I do. Open them back up, now everything's working again. And for experiments for both of y'all, you go there and look at it, play with them, honey. Turn that one off, turn this one on, and you do it too and kind of figure it out in your brain, and it really kind of starts to come together, okay? Normal operation, coming up from here, going into here. First line of defense is this debris catcher. This is where large particles get stuck. Anything larger than a grain of, anything that can get through those holes, anything that can't is going to get stuck right here. So a wedding ring, a bracelet, stuff like that. If you did drop it, it went down the drain, that's where you'd find it, okay? Earring, daddy, mom, whatever, right there, okay? But things that can get through little holes comes up through here. This 3-way valve is closed. We're not draining any water. We've closed it, so we're forcing water here. Now water's going into our filter. We're going to go over that in a minute. Water's coming out of our filter. The bottom, it comes through here. It goes through here at 150 gallons a minute. We're going to go over both of these in great detail, but for now we're just going over the run. So water's coming through here, our chlorinator through here, our SmartGuard Soft and Clear Sanitizer comes to here. This return here, that cleaner line, that one hole in the side of my pool that doesn't have any fitting, there's no water coming out of it right now. All my water has been forced to those 5 returns or 6 returns you have on the side of your pool. Now, if I was to go get a little swimming pool fountain or something like that, look it up. This is how I would turn it on. I would just loosen that up and give it some water. Now water's going to that hole. I can give it all the water. Go look at your pool now. All the water's going to be coming out of that one hole. You'll see a bunch of turbulence at the top of your pool. It's all coming out of that one hole. That would make that fountain go crazy, you know, if you wanted to. Or if you put it middle like that, the fountain would be going and your returns will still be in play also. Okay, so you can get your cleaner if you want. It's a pressure cleaner, or turn it into a water feature, or turn it off and never play with it ever. And that would be normal operation for the rest of your life right there. So the way this sets, you could initially never touch those and that would be perfect. Okay? Any questions on the run?
Nope.
All right. Now we're going to talk about these 2 little guys right here. This is your chlorinator. You want to look inside of there to see your chlorine tablets and how they've melted. You can come on the side. Yep, I see them. Yep, you can see how they've melted, and they've been in there for, gosh, more than 10 days, right?
Yeah, they're about a week or so, I think.
Yeah, whenever I first showed up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it's been 10 days. So those are going to last you 7 to 10 to 14 days, depending on the temperature of the water. The hotter the water, the faster they melt. Okay. There's a certain tablet that I recommend to get. It's not a brand, it's the chemical composition, and I'll show that to you at the end of pool school, okay? And we'll give you some to put in there. So what I do is I don't fill it up. I'm gonna go over it, but at the end of pool school, like when I say bye, y'all, I'm gonna hand you some tablets. First thing you're gonna do is come in here and go through the process of putting tablets in so it's fresh on your mind, okay? All right, okay. Now, we're gonna talk about our timer, all right? You have a 2-speed pump, so you have a dual timer, okay? Now, it gets a little confusing and people kind of confuse themselves, but I try to, if you take it how I give it, in simplicity, you're gonna go, oh, it really is simple, so don't overthink it, okay? But you do have a 2-speed pump, so you have a low-speed timer and a high-speed timer, okay? But, because I got my low time to here and I got my high time to here. But for this tutorial, I say the red switch is on-off, the right switch is high-low. You'll see what? On-off. No power. Can't do nothing now, okay? Now watch this. High, low. Get it? Mm-hmm. But really, I just turn high off. Low is still on. Get it?
Got it.
This is my low side. Mm-hmm. This is my high side. But for this tutorial, on off, high low. Okay? So, what you have is you have 2 time clocks. This little silver screw says do not unscrew it. It says the word time. So it's actually pointing to the actual time of day, which it's high noon right now. Okay? Now, pull out dial, turn dial to set time. Okay, so if I ever want to change the time, all I gotta do is pull the dial out and set the time. Pull it out, set the time. Okay? So power outage, time got all jacked up. Hey, what time is this? Noon. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna find noon. I'm just gonna go right to noon. And then when you push it back in, it sets. And then I just look at them both and make sure they're close enough, you know, you're good enough, okay? Now, you have on and off. The on is green, the off is gold. Same over here, okay? So for the beginning of a pool, I had you on a 16-hour run. I had you coming on at 8 in the morning, and I was turning you off at midnight. Now they were both, so they were coming on at 8 in the morning, 8. That would be high was coming on at 8 in the morning. Your high turned off at 8 p.m. Then it ran from 8 p.m. to midnight on low, and then low turned off. So these things work like a time clock. They're both in sync, and they're both going around like a time clock, okay? This doesn't move, okay? So as this goes around, and your little off guy gets right there, and we're at 8 p.m. We're at 8 p.m. and 8 p.m., and your system is on. All right, now this is going to go by, and bonk, turn it off. And this is going to keep going. Then at midnight, it turned itself off. Then as it went around, at 8 in the morning, oops, back on there. So as it came around, they were both at 8 in the morning, and it's just moving like a clock. And when that went past that little tripper right there, turned it on. Okay, that's how they work. Cool. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn it off and we're going to play with our time run. So here's the disclaimer. When I say disclaimer, it's what the manufacturers in Blue Haven told me to tell the homeowners, okay? The minimum amount of time that you want your pump and your filter to be on is 8 hours in the state of Florida because it's very hot and humid and stuff wants to grow and live in water, okay? So they also say you want to do it during the hottest times of the day, almost like the food temperature danger zone. Food sits out in that 70 degrees, it starts to grow, you know, salmonella, botulism and stuff. Pool's the same way. The hottest times of the day is when the bacteria goes, oh, I want to grow and turn into an algae or a bacteria, okay? So you want to be filtrating, chlorinating, sanitizing, going through a filter during the hottest times of the day. So they say the minimum amount of time you'd set a pool would be from 10 in the morning till 6 at night, and that'd be an 8-hour run. Blue Haven recommends 12-hour runs for the life of the pool. That would, and for us, during the hottest times of the day, would be 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night, especially in the summertime when we're already there almost, it feels like. So the way these work is they're little thumb screws. If you just barely move them, they'll hang on, but you can roll them around, or you can take it completely off and just push it to where you want. Well, I like to take them off and show the homeowner what they look like on the back and how it kind of works behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, let me get off of there. You're right on it's right on that spot. All right, cool. So the green is on. The gold says off. Underneath there, if you look, the on tripper's at the front, the gold tripper's at the back. And that's the difference. So when the green one's going around, the front one's turning it on. When the gold one hits it, the back one turns it off. Okay. So that's how they work behind there, okay? So we're going to go ahead and set it to be on at 8 a.m. because that's the hottest time of day. So all I gotta do is find my number where I want it. So and this is, once I set it and I leave, you can move it around, do whatever you want. It's your pool, it's your car now, okay? But we're gonna give you the foundational recommendations. So 8 o'clock in the morning, we're gonna turn it on, and I'm gonna turn it off at 8 p.m. That's gonna be my 12-hour run total. Then inside of that 12-hour run, I'm gonna have my high working. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. All right, so right now, as I have it set, this pool will turn on at 8 p.m. and turn off at 8 p.m., okay? Set my dial back to noon. Maybe a little past noon now. Good enough. All right, so 8 to 8 is going to turn on, okay? Now, I want this one to turn on at 8 also. We're going to turn it off at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So it's going to run on high for 6 hours. 2. And then 2, it's going to go from 2 to 8 on low. 6 hours on high, 6 hours on low. That is our recommendation. Now here's the deal. Do I have to run it on high in the morning? Can I run it on low in the morning, high? Yes, you can do whatever you want, okay? The recommendation is that if the pool sat for 12 hours off from 8 to 8 in the morning, we want high to kick in first. Okay, we want high to give a good heavy push. This pump, for the sake of math, and this is kind of close, 150 gallons a minute. Okay, so what that pump is pushing when it's on high, okay? 10,000 gallon pool, I'm not sure that's exactly what it is, but for the sake of math, 10,000 gallon pool, 150 gallons a minute, every 45 minutes, all 10,000 gallons will have gone through the filter, the chlorinator, and the sanitizer, okay? It's what's called the chemical and thermal rollover. So you want a lot of rollovers every day. We want as many as we can get relatively efficiently as well. I can run 12 hours on high and get 10 rollovers. Crap, that's a lot. So what I tell people is you got 6 hours, you're probably going to get 4 or 5 thermal and chemical rollovers. On low, it's 3 times that. So you're probably going to get 2 or 3 total. That's good. That means all that water's gone through here and done what it needs to do. Okay? So in the realm of efficiency and money savings and all that, you have a very, very, very what they call high efficient, low energy, it's a dual speed power saver pump. So it's just a grinder motor. So that motor itself is not pulling that much electricity from my house. Way less than an AC unit or maybe like an oven or a microwave or a stove or something like that. But it is pulling power, so they do say do a 6 hour to 6 hour to save a little bit of money. That's all you're doing is you're increasing the shelf life of the pump by running it on low speed, and you are saving a little bit of power, a little bit, maybe $5. You know what I mean? It's really low efficient. So what's more important than me for the cost effectiveness, $5, $10, is my pool looking beautiful it's not turning green, what kind of filter run do I need in this kind of environment, how much exposure and all of that, okay? So for now, this is how we're going to leave you set up, okay? You can play with it from there. So it's going to come on at 8, turn off at 8, it's going to turn off high at 2 o'clock, it's going to sound like that from 2 to 8, nothing, all right? Now, if you want it to kick back on high, you're hanging out, you want some water moving, you put a water feature on there, and low's just not giving you the circulation you want, you can always just come over here. So even if it's after that, and you're in that mode, like, hey man, turn it on high, get it going. You can always override it, but what'll happen is that it goes around, it'll click everything off and put it yourself right back to whatever you told it to, okay? So even though it's on high right now, tonight it'll turn itself off. And then tomorrow morning, that'll stay on. Then tomorrow morning, it'll be on high. And at 2 o'clock, it'll turn itself off. Cool? Mm-hmm. All right. So set her back to where it used to be. So it's being cascaded now. All right? Yep. Questions on that?
Nope.
Awesome. You got breakers. Do you have a GFCI protected breaker? So in case it's 3 in the afternoon, your pump should be on. You don't hear it running. Do come over here and check that first, okay? Because it is very sensitive. It's outside. This will trip before your house will trip. Now this is hardwired. This will trip and this could still have power, okay? When your house loses power, then know this lost power, you have to come out here and reset your time, okay? Now, we want to service our pool. Oh, you see how it's squirting every time you turn it off and on? Watch your pump right there. Good, but every now and then, you still see it dripping? That's normal. That is a pressure release lid. See how it just a little bit? Yeah. Totally normal when it's off and on, okay? All right, now we want to service our pool. We want to turn it off, okay? First thing we do, okay? We come over here and we look at our lid. We want to dump our baskets. We look in there and we see a bunch of debris. So go ahead and look in there and you say, how often should I dump it? You can dump it now. You don't have to dump it now. There's so many holes. Yes, there's some crud in there. Yes, I want to get it out of there, but it's not detrimental that stuff is in there. I'm not hurting my pool right now, okay? So that's when they say, how often? Whenever you want. See crap? Dump it. You missed a month, it ain't like, I got to run out there and dump it. It's okay, all right? So now you got the word front, and it's important because I had 2 handles to play with. If I put it on backwards, I lose a handle. So it's under a lot of pressure right now, and I need to get it off of there. So you hit it like that, lose 2 handles, and you're good. Dump your stuff out. Now, you can get nitty gritty. We're not going to do it for this example. And you can really go off and clean every little single giblet out of here. It's going to take some time. You're actually going to have to get a toothpick and poke some of these things out, okay? For now, that's good enough. Now this hole right here has to line up with this hole right here so it catches the debris coming out of that pipe right there. It will go in wrong and it'll still work, okay? But you want that lined up. Now, pressure release lid, that was that little spurt. Now front is front because that gives me 2 handles to always work with. If I put it on backwards, I just lost a handle. And when pressure's up, I'm only opening it with 1 handle and it's really hard, okay? So that's what front means. It's just because there is no front or back, really. It'll go on backwards and be just fine. It's just when it comes time to take it off, you're gonna wish you had it like that. Yeah. Cool? All right, let's go over our chlorinator. All right, now inside of here, everything's hand tight. You see how easily I just opened that? Mm-hmm. And it wasn't leaking. So when you go to tighten it, just snug it enough that you don't see water dripping down the side, okay? All right, so there's your little tablets. They're in there, and the way the system works is water's going under that pipe at 150 gallons a minute. There's a little scoop that they designed that dips down in there and catches some water and comes out this spigot right here, okay? So don't ever do this without a professional. Don't ever have that lid open and have this pump running ever again. Okay. All right, so we'll go over that in a minute. So water's going to be coming through here, going in my pool. This has chlorine tablets in it, and this water comes out that spigot right there, and it drips over the tablets, melting them into that water. And that's how chlorine's getting into your water. So how I control the amount of chlorine going in my pool, right now I have no chlorine going in my pool because I have it off. If I start to turn it on, see that? And step back, step way back, both of y'all. I turn on full blast. Look how much pressure is going to go in there, okay? So, I put my tablets in there. So when y'all are doing your thing, you're going to come over here, you're going to turn this off. Okay? You see how it drops? You see how it's full of water and immediately it drops? Okay. I don't ever want to fill this full with chlorine tablets, because every night when my pump turns off, the water's going to drop to about right there. And if I had this thing full, those tablets that are up here that were wet are now in the air, wet and dry. Wet chlorine tablets gas off like crazy. They need to be always submerged. So you never want to put more than 4 tablets in here at a time, okay? They're going to last you 7 to 10 days, and that's plenty, all right? So you're going to turn it off. You're going to open it up. You're going to take the 3 tablets I'm going to give you here in a minute. You're just going to put them in right on top of those 2. Those 2 are still melting. Just cover them up, okay? And then put your lid on until it's snug and just tighten it. That's it. And then this is how you adjust how much water. So we're going to turn it on. Come over here, man, so you can see this little valve. So this is how you control how fast you're going to melt those tablets. So right now it's wide open. See that little valve right there?
Yep.
Now watch it when I turn it off. Get out. There we go. So on, off. So when I'm testing my pool a week from now, and my chlorine's starting to go up, you're going to go, hey, I want to turn it down now, because Sean left it wide open because it's a brand new pool and that's what I want. But moving forward, you have a residential pool. You don't have to run 5-10 parts per million. You want to be between 1 and 3. You're going to come over here and start lowering the amount of chlorine I put in my pool, okay? That's how you adjust it. So you're just going to, right now it's wide open, and you're going to say, I want to turn it down a little bit. And you're going to wait a week and test it then. Oh, we're still a little too high. I'm going to turn it down just a little more. Test it then. Oh, that's perfect. Or oh, a little too low. Then I'm gonna turn it up. This is where I play with it. You get it? As long as tablets are in here, this controls how fast they're melting. Got it?
Yep.
So right now I want it wide open. I'm gonna put 3 brand new tabs here in a minute when y'all are leaving. You're gonna leave it wide open. And then we're gonna test your water. It's all gonna come together. So this is how you're gonna, a week from now, go, hey, I wanna go ahead and start tweaking it down a little bit, or I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm leaving it wide open some more. The reason is you do want our chlorine residual to catch hold. Right now it's probably not caught yet. That's why we're still wide open, putting chlorine in the pool as fast as we can to keep it crystal clear and blue. But eventually, you're gonna learn a little bit more in a minute, it's gonna catch a hold. It's called chlorine residual, and once it kind of catches a hold, then you're gonna start lowering this guy. Cool?
Is it okay to open it while it's running, or should you cut it off?
Well, you don't want to open it. You can open it while it's running, but you better make sure this is on 0.
Okay.
Okay? And it's not going to blow up in my face because I'm going to let it release. But you see how it's got pressure?
Yep.
And now I'm good. But if I had this thing wide open where it was, damn it. If I had this wide open where it was, and I go try to, and it builds a lot of pressure, and I go try to open it, boom!
Yeah.
All right, so the best, that's why I said don't ever open it when it's on. Just always come over here and turn your pump off anytime I'm gonna go be opening anything.
Okay.
All right, that's just best practice, okay? All right, so we went over that. This right here is called a SmartGuard Soft and Clear. Okay, it's made in the USA. It's a sanitation device, so it's a chlorine reducing device. So you've got chlorine in here. That's what you've chosen to sanitize your pool with, is chlorine. Okay. Well, this guy and this guy, they attack algae and bacteria, softening them, killing them, allowing making it easier for chlorine to do its job, which means you can run lesser amounts of chlorine and still have a crystal clear blue pool. So science hasn't gotten so fantastic that you can't have that you can do away with sanitizer completely, but they've almost gotten there with this guy, and you're going to learn more about it, and you're going to learn more about your filter. So they're both what they call chlorine reducing devices. So you've got a really almost a green pool. You're going to be running probably 1 to 0.5 parts per million. You're probably going to be running the lowest amounts of chlorine allowable and still have a crystal clear blue pool, which means for me, no chlorine. Is, you know, you can run you can have tap water basically with your system. Cool?
Yeah.
All right, now I want to clean my filter. So I turned it off. There's a valve back here, right here. It's a pressure release valve. I'm going to open it up until I don't hear any more. This thing's full of pressure. Don't open them up until you've released that pressure, okay? Imperative. Because when you go to open it, your head's right here. And if it's full of pressure, you get your tongue out, cut your tongue. It's gonna slap.
Yeah.
It's not gonna explode, but it's gonna boom.
Yeah.
Same, that one won't because it has that pressure release lid, but that one will. This one will. All right, so our pressure's released. We've got 4 handles. One has a red latch. just pull the red latch, go to the left, spin it till it comes off, pull it straight up, and look at that yucky filter. That's everything. That's where it all goes. It'll either get stuck in that basket or it'll get stuck on here. Okay? That's where it ends up. Now this, they never want you to set it like that. So everything's recessed, so they tell you, please put it on the lid because you never want to get dirt and crud up in here, okay? This is a pressure release lid also, and this little gasket right here needs to stay nice and clean. Now these need to stay nice and clean also. I'd never, ever, ever want to put any kind of lube or anything on here, ever. Just water, okay? If you put any kind of lube, then a little piece of grain of sand will stick to it, and then it'll just grind it out every time you're doing it, okay? Now, over there you have a plug. Now again, everything should be hand tightened. And we stress that because pressure builds up. If you crank everything down, look at that, and it's not even leaking, okay? This right here, barely even on there, it's not leaking. Same thing down here. Right here, this thing is full of water, but it's hand tightened. It wasn't leaking until I loosened it up. So, hand tighten only, or you'll be having a hard time getting stuff off after it's built a lot of pressure. Cruddy water is in there.
Yeah.
Now this looks really dirty and really bad because you just got through construction, okay?
Yeah.
Once your grass is in and this is going to go way down. But when they say, how do we treat our pool? It's based on the environment and what we call the bather load. Right now, your pool is in a strained environment, okay? A lot of dirt, a lot of construction debris was coming in it. It was going through like a lot of craziness. After all your landscaping stuff's done, that'll lower. But then what also they talk about bather load. How many kids, how many people? What contaminates filters is us. You see how filthy it is? It's about to get cleaned really fast because that's construction debris. What hurts filters is suntan oil, sunscreen, body oil, hair. That's what starts to contaminate filters in the long run, okay? So right now, it looks really bad, but it's really not. So you're going to, we're gonna wash it right here on top of these pavers so you can see stuff coming out of it. We've released it, so it made it a little bit lighter. Now I can lift it with one hand. You see that?
Yep.
One of the ways you can tell if this is ready to be discarded and replaced is if it's so heavy I can't pick it up with two hands.
Yeah.
I'll literally be like, dude, honey, get over there on the other side. Ready? She'll be here and you'll be here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And you'll get it out, and then you'll be like, ugh. And then you'll clean the crap out of it, and if it's still just too heavy, it got contaminated. And they should last you 3 to 5 years before it gets like that, okay? So I can lift it with one hand right now. Eventually I will not be able to. Now, here we go. First things first, model number right there on top, CS225EM. 225 stands for 225 square feet. The name of your filter is Smart Filter Trademark 225. 225 is 225 square feet. This is a very tightly fluted, deep filter, so this cloth is 225 square feet. If we were to take it apart and lay it out, it would be 225 square feet. Then they and put it inside of here. So it's very deep, okay? It goes way back up in there. So crud gets way back up in there. All the way to the very back is where the stuff sticks, okay? So you've got to have something that can spray very powerfully, okay? A pressure washer, too powerful, okay? This little guy right here, you get them online, very good, okay? And they won't destroy your filter. See how quick it's getting clean? All right, so basically what you're doing is you're going to push all that dirt down. See, look at the bottom down there. Yeah. Forcing it down and out. And all you're doing is you're working it from the top, taking all that crap off, turn it. I work ring by ring. You know what? I knew that this was going to. I just bought this thing. You see it as seen on TV, the new turbo jet. It'll clean your house. You don't have to go buy. Get rid of those dirt daubers.
Yeah.
Without having to buy a pressure washer. So as seen on TV, I was at the flea market in Daytona yesterday. And I said, hey, I got a pool school tomorrow. Let me see how they clean filters. Cool, man. Oh, I like it. It's saving me a ton of time. So I start at the top, and I start pushing that stuff down, okay, to the bottom, all the way out the bottom, okay. Now, this is a 225 filter, so if I go to any pool supply company, I say, hey, I need a filter for my pool, they're going to ask me what kind do I have. I have a cartridge 225. I have a cartridge filter. That's what you have is a cartridge system, and the size of it is 225 square feet. All right, so that's that. Now, this exact filter, that model number CS225PM, can only be gotten online at bluehaven.com. Okay, it's the only place you can find this exact filter. So, if you stand and you look at it from this angle, see how it sparkles?
Yep.
It's sparkly, okay? That's not paper. That is a polyester fiber, okay? So this is a special, a very, very special filter. So much so, Hayward made it, and Blue Haven bought it, and they changed the name to Smart Filter 225. And so we want it. So now the only place you can get that exact filter is through bluehaven.com. Not the Jacksonville website, bluehaven.com, pool supplies, this will pop up. An award-winning filter, $136, okay? 3 to 5 years is how long it should last. And the way I can tell it's time to change, several factors. Hey, get out of here, buddy. Several factors. One, it's so heavy I can't lift it up. Number two, those little white bands, even though it's not paper, it's polyester fiber, they'll start to pop. Okay, it will swell a little bit over time, and it gets real fuzzy like a tennis ball. Because as I'm doing this, I'm microscopically breaking the fibers, and they get real fuzzy. Okay, there you go. So that's how you know it's time to replace. All right, and then your pressure gauge also will tell you that. It starts right now. We'll see where our pressure is, and if it gets above 50 psi, and I can't get it below 50 psi, it's time to throw it away. Okay. All right. Now I can go. Do I have to have this exact filter? No, I do not. Any cartridge 225 will work, okay? So I can go online to Amazon.com and type in the word swimming pool cartridge filter 225, and 50 of them are going to pop up, okay? They're crap. They're paper. They have, okay, I forgot a disclaimer. This has the highest micron filtration rating, okay? 60,000. Those paper filters, 15,000. Get it? 45,000 more micron filtration rate, meaning catching smaller particles in those little white filters. Now, those white filters are cheap. They're 50 to 75 bucks. They last 6 months. They're disposable. You don't wash them. You throw it in there, they'll work, okay? But they're crap. The second best kind you can get at a pool service provider, Pinch a Penny, for example. They carry a real nice cartridge filter. It's cloth. It is washable, but it's got about a 1 to 2 year shelf life, and it has like a 30,000 micron filtration rating, okay? So you do not have to get this exact filter. There are other filters that will work. This is just the best filter you can buy. And the last reason is why is because that blue coating, okay? So you've got a smart guard. We're going to talk about that more. You got a smart filter. What makes it smart? It's that blue coating is a copper oxide type of chemical. Microban 25, you've heard of that stuff? Well, they put them on filters now, okay? So they laid out the polyester fiber cloth, and it's white, and then they spray it with this kind of chemical coating that turns it blue, because copper turns blue when it hits oxygen, okay? So when water's passing through this filter, it's actually being treated. It's actually helping to soften algae and bacteria and kill algae and bacteria, which is what they call a chlorine reducing device, okay? And that does the same thing. So that's the microban coating. So what makes this filter such a badass filter is it's a polyester fiber, so highest micron filtration rating, and B, it has that microban coating in there, okay? So it will help kill bacteria, what they call a chlorine reducing device. Now, what I do is there is no top or bottom, so you can rotate this, and we recommend. For this example, we're going through it way too fast. When it's time to really clean it, next time, get a chair, sit down, headphones, get your whatever device you want to use. That's not this. And really go at it. And then look up in there and go, oh, it still sees some stuff right there. And just keep working it. And then rotate it. And go at it again. And do it again. And if it were me, rotate. I'd probably do it 3 or 4 times until I was like, hey, it's super, super clean. The more you clean it, the longer it will last, the better your pool will run. This is the heart of the pool, okay? If you neglect this, just like your heart, it'll get clogged, it'll quit working, and you'll have to replace it sooner, okay? Now, I'm gonna finish cleaning it. So while I'm doing that, I want y'all to watch a little. You can stop that. We're good. Watch. See, look at all that crud coming out. That's it. Just watch that. It'll come out that hole down there. Okay. Now again, just water on anything over here. Just make sure that you feel it and that it's nice and clean around here. Okay. Same with that lid. Okay. You want to make sure that all that stuff in there is nice and clean, no dirt, no crud, and all that, okay? Now, you cleaned out your vat, you cleaned your filter. There is no top or bottom, so we're just gonna set it over that little hole right there. Pipe, down in the hole, and it doesn't screw or not, it just wants all the way down, that's it. This, make sure it's spinning freely, nice and clean. Plug has to spin very, very easily. If you feel any pushback, if it feels like it's pushing back out and start fresh, because these are plastic and this is molded plastic. If you strip this, you have to replace this whole vat. Okay, so just make sure, and you'll see how easy it's going to spin. But if I like right there, see how it's like kind of crooked? I'm like, oh, I can tighten it up. No, stop, back out. Start over. Make sure it spins like you're going to see it spin. See that?
Yep.
See how easily it's spinning? That's what you want. All the way. And once you get there, that's it. And tighten. This, go backwards till it drops. All right? Take my pressure gauge, point it so I can see it. This tells you when it's time to clean. Let's play that in a second. Spin it until the red handle clicks. Oops, right here. All right? All right? Close your little red pressure valve. Okay? Look at everything. Put our chlorine tablets in there. We dumped that. We cleaned everything. Cool. On high. You want it on high to give it a good prime. Turn it on. It's a self-priming pump, meaning it will pull the water itself. You don't have to put a water hose and fill the pipes. They're self-priming pumps now. They're vacuum sealed. Now watch this pressure over here, okay? Right now you have 0 pressure. Now that green arrow and that red arrow are fixed, okay? So there's 10 pounds between the two of them. So as my pressure increases on my pump, it's gonna land somewhere in normal operation once it gets going, okay? And you have to have a minimum of 10 pounds for this to work. So when they invented these, it was because they invented fracking. So when they were shoving water into the earth to bring the gas and the oil up, once it came up, they had to figure out how to separate the water from the oil and gas. So they made these on a ginormous scale. But then when they were done separating the gas and the oil, pure water was coming out. Not only pure water, but you hear them say it also stabilizes the water. The two things for me that stand out for this thing, 3 things really: that whole heat signature, hydraulic harmonics. So a little bit of water's hitting those jets, and it's getting between 300 and 500 degrees, which kills algae and bacteria and softens it, allowing us to do better. But the serotonin that it releases, and then the stabilization of the water. So as a pool boy, pH and alkalinity, or whatever pool boy tests first, these keep. Well, this geologist went out to test those fracking rigs. They had perfect drinkable water. Well, 20 years later, you got them on pools, made in the USA. Really cool. Almost turning your pool green. Okay, these things are badass. So anyway, it has to have a minimum of 10 pounds. So when they first invented them, I thought, well, why don't they use them on the African babies that are drinking the worm water? It's because they use pumps. They have to have a minimum of 10 pounds of pressure. And I was like, man, but those villages don't have electricity and yada yada. So anyway, they really, really, really work, okay? So, wherever my pressure lands, right now it's at 21, I'm gonna cover the black with the green, all right? Now, as this starts to get dirty, pressure will build up. That black line's gonna increase. When the black gets close to the red, it's time to clean to 10 pounds of difference. So don't wait till the black gets all the way to the red. I'd say when the black is like right there, I'm like, oh man, that's time to, I'd go ahead and clean my filter. And then once you clean it and you're done, no matter where that pressure lands, it may be 24, it may be 18, that's not the point. You cover the black with the green, brand new clean filter, and as it starts to increase under normal operation, it's time to clean. Now when this pressure, when the filter starts to get so bad, it is going to start to increase over time, and it's going to be up in the 30s and high 30s and stuff, and that's probably 3 or 4 years from now. That's when you might want to look into replacing it, okay? All good on everything over here? All right, let's go check our water.